My name is Sue Childress, and I play flute and piccolo with the late Geneva Symphony Orchestra. During this time of shutdown for the orchestra, we have a new program called LGSO at Home. One of the main goals of the orchestra is education, and so we're providing a series of master classes on video to reach out to teachers and students during this time of shutdown. So what I'm going to teach you today is how to play two notes at once on the flute. It's actually kind of a fun little trick that you could do in one instance, and it's called multiphonics. So in order to do this, we're going to finger top line F, so thumb, 1, 2, 3, fourth finger, and your E flat pinky. Then in addition to that, you're going to push down both trill keys. This is good because quite often flute players fall into a bad habit of wanting to use their fourth and fifth fingers for the trill keys. But when you play high B flat, you need to use your fifth finger on the first trill key and then the sixth finger on the second trill key for the high B natural. So this exercise teaches correct finger placement. So if you play two short staccato notes, you produce the multiphonic. Can you hear both sounds? If you play too hard, you'll only get the higher note, the F. And if you play too soft, you'll only get the D. But if you play it together with the right amount of air, you'll be able to produce both notes. To make it a little bit more interesting, let's start on the low F and then slur up to those two multiphonic notes. And then we can alternate that with a B flat, third line B flat, and slur up to our multiphonic notes. And to make it a little bit more interesting yet, let's do a bass line lead in, a low F, G, A natural, B flat. So that's a repeating pattern, which is also called an ostinato. And it's just a typical accompaniment part that you would probably play in the lower hand on the piano. So what could we put with it? Well, how about a melody? And this tune was in 3/4 time. And so let's try My Bonnie Lies Over the Ocean. And something that's very familiar to everybody. So if you have an a cappella app, you could put down the accompaniment part on one of the tracks, and then you could add the melody with it on the other track. Now, you're probably thinking, well, what are the notes for that? You need to show me how to play that melody. I'm going to challenge you in a new way. A lot of times flute players, we get very locked into classical music and actually having the notes on the page, and we don't play by ear, which is something that jazz players try to do very early on. And so I'm going to tell you that My Bonnie starts on the F and then it goes to the D above the staff. And those are the first two notes. But then I'm going to challenge you to see if you could figure out the rest of the melody by ear, which is a very useful tool. And as I played it, did you notice later on I added some glissandos? That's another part of jazz and improvisation, is they'll take a melody, but they won't play it the same every time. And that's something we do in classical music. We always want to reproduce it and make it perfect every time. They will play with the rhythms, and they will add trills and glissandos, and they will actually become composers in a way because they're taking a melody and changing it into something new and something different. If you want to do something in 4/4 or 2/4 time, you can do that same bass pattern like this. So I'm hoping that this video gave you a few new ideas and maybe has encouraged you to try something new, like to play by ear or maybe a little improvisation. And on behalf of the Lake Geneva Symphony Orchestra, I thank you for listening to this.